What's up?
Hey y'all.
What's up? What's up? We back.
Yes, welcome to another episode of That Couple Podcast.
It's still growing on me. It's still growing on me. But I like it. I like it. You know, I got to figure out how to
It might
swag
sound
it.
a little bit familiar, but you know.
I got to figure out how to swag it a little bit for me. You know, I think it
Try
for
it.
you.
Try it.
Nah.
Let me hear it.
No, right now. Yeah.
Come on, just take it. That Couple Podcast.
Nah.
Hey y'all.
What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up?
I am Kim.
It's your boy Cleet Geek. What? I am Cleet
You
the
are
Geek.
Cleet the Geek.
Sorry, I stream for my gaming, so sometimes I go right into that mode. But sorry, I'm Cleeting on this podcast.
Or Cleet.
Or Cleet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Hey, I got several names. Hey.
Cleet. Yeah.
Cleet. AKA Cleet the Geek, you know. But anywho.
Yeah, so welcome to That Couple Podcast. We are your hosts.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. Before we get started, okay, just a few housekeeping things. Be sure you're following us, okay, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on all podcast platforms, okay? Make sure you subscribe, like, comment.
What do you do for a podcast? You listen,
you subscribe,
download,
you subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, right.
And you could download the episodes.
Yeah.
And also it helps us tremendously too if you leave some good reviews.
Yeah, help us out. You know, we're growing the channel.
Yes.
We're growing the podcast.
Yes.
We want to obviously come with good content on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. And you know, just kind of like the title says, we're that couple. We want to be that couple you like to chill with, have great conversations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just share the things that we go through. And we're sure you're going through the same thing as parents, as a married couple.
Yeah, I was about to get into couples. Exactly what we talking about.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
A little bit of, no. It's fine. It's fine. So, you know, we talk about, you know, our marriage life. We talk about parenthood because we are, you know, we have 2 kids. We talk about just our
entertainment, right?
I was about to say daily lives, like all that, but that encompasses marriage and parenthood, working. And then also one of our favorites is entertainment. Okay. Yeah. We're an entertainment family. We love to go to theme parks. We're a Disney family. We're a Marvel family. We are a Harry Potter family. We are a Star Wars family. We are a what else?
We watch a lot of content.
We do.
We watch a lot of stuff.
We do, but we're not the only ones.
What, Lifetime and Hallmark and
Hallmark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Consequently, I end up kind of watching a little bit of it. You know, just walking by.
Hallmark too, guys. Hallmark.
I walk by, and sometimes, you know, I have to, you know, make up the bed while it's on. You know, I just might stay a little bit.
So much so you get into the characters.
Hey, it's the same story. Every movie.
Hey, it is.
Anywho, we love shows. If you didn't get the gist,
yes.
We you know, and then we like some certain shows like Married at First Sight and different things like that. So you'll see in these episodes we have a little section where we get into that.
Right.
But what are we talking about today? Before we, you know, kind of get into.
Well, first off, you know, a little catch up moment. What we been up to?
Ah, man.
What you been up to? Like, I don't know.
Been minding my business. That's what I'm doing. No, it's been, you know, obviously it's been a few weeks since our last episode. You know,
it's been a busy month.
And that's the reality, right? You know, we want to come consistently. Eventually we will get it to that weekly flow. But it's been going good. We are let's see, this upcoming weekend we have a big football game for our son and our nephew.
Yes.
They're in flag football and they're doing phenomenal. Okay, we started.
And he's one of the coach.
And I'm a coach. Yes, right. That's right. I'm a coach. My brother-in-law, shout out to G-Dub. He's a coach as well. And my other brother, B Money, I call him. My homeboy and brother Brandon is the other coach. So we holding it down. You know, we hold it down for the kiddos.
Being big brothers to the
yeah. They're what we say age range 7 to
9.
to about 9.
Mm-hmm.
So it's their molding year, right? It's their molding years, should I say?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really rewarding. You know, it's already enough to have our own sons that we have to basically teach everything,
yes,
right?
God. Yes, God.
But we but we got a whole group of other kids that you know it kind of puts us into the community.
Yeah,
and it's really
in
rewarding.
The community.
Yeah, we in the community.
In the words of Tony Baker.
Yeah. We in the community. You know what I mean? And it's good. It's good. It's rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
You get to if any dads out there, husbands, you know, wherever have you identify with this podcast. If you're thinking about it, if you thought about it, it's really cool. You get to impact some kids. You get to be involved in the sport that you love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was the only one that ended up coaching basketball a little bit. I was a stand-in coach for when our son played our son and nephew played basketball. Yeah. But anyway, you find a sport, baseball, basketball, you know, tennis, whatever. And I'm telling you, invest in these kids. It's really rewarding. It is a lot of work, but it gives you. It's a really cool hobby, I'll say. You know, and like I said, for those who's been involved in any type of ministry, it's ministry outside of the four walls of the church. So anyway, we have a game coming up Saturday. Our season started off real rough.
Yes, you know? He turned it.
But yeah, these kids started picking up, and that's the amazing thing.
The playoffs. Yeah,
you see the kids go from the beginning where they don't know the sport. They don't know, like, you know, it's flag football, so they don't know how to play football. They don't know what's offsides. They don't know the end zone. And to get to the end of the year, and now we're about to compete for a championship. So we're really excited.
They just got team of the week last week.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we turned around. We beat the team. We beat the best team in the league 2 weeks ago.
Right.
So yeah, you know, y'all sail a prayer for us. You know, I mean, this Saturday is going down. By the time maybe by the time you get this podcast, it would have already happened. So we'll see how it goes, but we're ready. We're ready. So anyway, that's one of the big things happening with me, with us, because we're one.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but
yeah, I was gonna say, you know, and you're like, you know, invest in your children. I was like, along with Aiden being in flag football, our daughter Paris, she's in dance right now.
Oh yeah.
So her and her cousin London, they take it together, London and Paris.
Oh Lord.
I just hit my note. Anywho, so she's taking ballet, she's taking tap, and she's taking jazz. And child, you can't tell her nothing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she's loving that
around the house.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So that's been good seeing her, like, you know, doing something that she could finally like do.
Right, because she's been seeing the boys playing flag. Well, the girls, both of them, they've been seeing their older brothers play.
Yeah, so now she's involved in something like, you know, that she can own herself.
And this is a good segue into this episode, right? We titled it, you know, there ain't no handbook for this, right? So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
we titled this. Oh, I didn't know we had a name yet. Okay. I like that. We titled this.
Yeah.
Ain't no what?
Ain't no handbook for this.
Oh, ain't no handbook. Okay, look at you. Using that.
I was a little bad.
Using that.
Don't start.
Using it. That creative cat.
Oh, I know we look like buffoons right now, but you gotta see Kevin Hart making fun of The Rock.
Okay, one of we love to laugh together. We are people. We love to laugh. If you know me, you know, I love to laugh.
24/7.
We love to laugh together.
It's almost stressful how much you like it.
One of the things we love is the relationship between The Rock and Kevin Hart.
They're like, you know, when people say brothers from another mother, they are truly brothers from another mother.
Yes, like
those guys, man.
If you have ever watched them, like anytime they do movies together, you know, they go on these tours together to promote the movie, and they have all these interviews, right? In these interviews, let me tell you, hilarious.
Sometimes better than the movie, okay?
Yes, I look forward to them in the most. Well, it wasn't the most recent one, but one of like ones they did several years ago. They were like imitating each other. So who was it?
Kevin Hart. He was making fun of The Rock. He was
the way he talked.
Hey,
yes. It was just funny. You gotta watch it, okay?
Inside joke. Sorry, but hey,
it was funny.
We're family, right? We're friends, so we bring you into
y'all that couple too.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. So we bring you into the inside joke. So very soon you're gonna know all our inside jokes because we chill with y'all, hopefully on a weekly basis. We ain't promising that, but we're trying to get to that.
We consistent.
We're trying to get to that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
sorry, I knocked you off.
Yeah, what was that?
You were saying? Oh, you had titled.
Oh yeah, I was in my bag.
Ain't no handbook for that.
Yeah, ain't no handbook. So we're talking about the kids, right? So found something for the boys. We tried basketball, that didn't work. Shifted to football. Yeah. So the girls jumped into dance. So it's parenting. Hey, this is what we're talking about this episode. You're making it up as you go. I don't care what nobody tell you. Now, of course, you're gonna have grandparents, parents, uncles, aunties, right? Pastors, counselors, all of these individuals that might have some insight. But you are raising a unique individual. Yeah. So there ain't no handbook for that person. And we got two of them, right? So
each child is different.
Oh man, just when you think you got one figured out, you got a whole nother human being. And then there's levels to this, right?
There's levels.
I got them figured out as an infant. And they become toddlers.
It switches up when they get a little independence as a toddler. When they figure out, I can do this by myself.
And then you get them figured out as toddlers. Now they're little kids, right? Now our kids are they're shifting through that little kids to big kids stage, right? I don't know. Big kid would be 7 till 11, maybe, until preteens. School age is a good way to say it. Good. But and they call school age problem. Okay. Jeez Louise, man. What do we even want to start, man? It's just one thing we were talking about was school, right?
Oh yeah.
So we got accustomed to it. Of course, we're gonna cover our kids, so we're gonna do our best. We ain't gonna say he or she. Hopefully. But you got your kids, and you got the let's. Okay. How can I? You go reveal it because you're gonna be like, oh, I did this one.
Well, it's like in kids, growing up. I know for me, we were all good in school, but there was 3 of us, right? It was me, my sister, my brother. You out of the 3, there was some of us that were more studious than others.
Stayed up on their assignment.
There were some more studious than others. And some, you had to stay on top of, to do work. But it got done eventually. But just saying, there's a difference between each child.
And that's what we're experiencing. Yeah. We're experiencing, you're figuring it out with your kids, and you got one child that's on this end of the spectrum as far as preparedness, right? Attention,
studious, responsible,
attention to detail, right? Understanding assignments, right? You're like, oh man, this is great. Then the other one, you are y'all siblings? What's going on?
Did you go to school today?
Right. No, I'm saying, are y'all from the same? I can be so different from each other, So we're navigating through that right now because, like Kim said, they're in that school age time of their life, right? So we're dealing with teachers and we're dealing with counselors, right? And we're trying to make sure
and be an advocate.
Yeah, and one thing we'll say, in this journey, we're realizing there's a lot when we were younger that from an attention standpoint that our teachers, counselors, they just weren't doing, right? And I think just, and it's natural, right? As time go on, you get more technology, you get more information, more understanding about things. But I think, just thinking about, something this comes up with kids, what is it? It's ADHD, right? That was a thing when we were younger. You were like, oh, I don't want to get that label.
It used to be like ADD. I think it was ADD, but now it's like ADHD.
Yeah, it used to be ADD.
They didn't be revising stuff, child.
Yeah, so back in the day, you didn't want that label because basically you were crazy. So you'd be hitting teachers, that person crazy, right? But nowadays it's like, with more information, you're realizing like, oh, it's just saying, this kid may have anxiety with test taking. Something as simple as that, right? Yeah. So back then we could have used some resources and tools to take tests better, right? We probably did better with the ACTs and SATs. And the SATs, right? You know what I mean? We had the FCAT here in Florida. So we would have did a lot better with those exams had we had some accommodations for that. But it didn't have that much information. So I'm saying all that to say, like, now in today's age, you have a lot more programs and things of that nature. So we're navigating through that. We're understanding like, okay, this may be beneficial to this kid, and this kid may need this kind of accommodations or whatever have you, and it's okay. We wanted to talk about this because we've been having our own discussion about it. Yeah. But we feel like, this is a good thing to bring up in a podcast because for sure. Because it's a stigma, right? The stigma is normally negative. Like, oh man, right. I don't want my kid to be labeled with nothing like that. And
now they're preventing them from like getting them the necessary resources and tools that they could have used.
Because we're in America, right? And it's a lot of bureaucracy, right? So while you would think, right, naturally, okay, this is my child's teacher, right? So they should be using whatever resources they can to make sure my child's learning, whether my child learns visually, audibly, right? Whatever their learning style is, you would think their teacher would be working hard to make sure they align with their learning style. But a lot of times when there's so many students in the class, they're not giving that.
When we were growing up, like they just taught it like one way. It wasn't like
one size fits all.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what happened, what we're realizing is in order to get some of those accommodations, you have to start to look at some different programs and things like that gives your kids these options. So at first we were apprehensive. We were like, nah, man, we're not touching that. We want our kid to be on the straight and narrow. Blah,
or didn't want any labels or anything like that.
But you realize the bureaucracy, the label. Okay, you may get this label, but then now it opens up all of this stuff that your kids should be getting out the box anyway.
Right.
So we, do with it what you may, but just know that you're not the only one out there. If you are dealing with, some of the people we follow on their podcasts, they've talked about it as well. Yes. So you start to see it's like all over the country. It's not just here in Florida for us. It's all over the country. We're dealing with, just getting our kids the natural resources, the actual resources that they need to just be successful, and it's okay to if you are a stickler like us, it's okay to kind of bend the rules a little bit so that you can make sure your kid get what they need. So anyway, that's something that, we probably known in the earlier years, we probably would have been started. But
earlier.
But we had our stigmas, right? You grow up like you was like, oh, man, my kid fine. Don't tell me my kid crazy, but it don't mean that in today's day.
Yeah,
it don't.
And I was gonna say another thing is like, don't be apprehensive to like be the advocate for your child. Nobody's gonna go harder for your child than you.
Yeah.
As the parent, and it's even better because like, with us being like our children's number one advocates, it makes the whole, like everybody that's on the team, and I'm considering like people that are on the team are like the teachers, right? The staff at the school, or whatever, the counselors, everybody, all of them. Right? When like the parents are heavily involved, they do their part.
It's funny,
and it makes a difference.
They keep saying that. I see like, oh my gosh, oh thanks for showing up. Oh wow. Oh God, you guys are on it. They always say you're on it. It's like, yeah, I'm invested in my kid. You know what I mean? So that's what you want them to say.
All right, I'm on it.
You know what I mean? Okay. It's like, hey, this is my human, okay? Yes. That I've been assigned to. I want to make sure, he or she's getting what they need. So be encouraged, y'all, because hey, it's tough. You know what I want. For me,
what is it? Let it off the chest.
It's tough. All right. So, and I know you've gone through this, right?
What?
Like, and when you were in school and you had assignments, you had, whatever you were going through in school, you knew that, okay, you had to dig within yourself to, if it was for science, if it was for, math, of course, right? Language arts, whatever the topic was. If you were struggling, you knew that, okay, I could dig in, right? Or you can communicate to your parents, okay, I need a tutor, I need to go to study hour, whatever the resources you had at your school. It was you was going through it. So you were like, okay, this is what I need. This is what I don't understand. What I find so complicated, and this is just the beginning of parenting. It's like you want that for another human being. You can't force them, right? You can't just shove it into them, right? The knowledge and the want to and the habits, right? You have to it's like you're a coach. It's like you got to motivate, and it's so difficult at times because it's like in your head you're just like, oh, this is how I would do it, but they're a different human.
Yeah.
And you gotta push. You gotta know when to push. You gotta know when to back up. When to be tough, when not to be tough. I was just having a discussion with one of my kids today, and they were just like, I don't like when you yell, right? it shuts me down, basically. And I'm like, I'm only yelling because I see you're not trying, right? So to me, it's a catch-22. I'm like, this is when I feel like I need to push you and get you out of your little stoop, right? Your little, if you, kids are going to be kids. When it's time to do work, they want to go play. So if I'm trying to get you to do work and you're trying to play, I'm like, no, let me get you refocused. Let's get you focused on this assignment that you're working on. But the catch-22 is, it's like, okay, but I don't want you to yell at me to get me to focus. But then again, I'm giving you a hard time, so I'm making you yell at me. So it's like, so it's a push and pull. So I had a nice discussion with that kid. So I'm doing good. I had a good discussion with him.
Played on that kid. That go.
Oh Lord, I didn't even catch that.
Oh, that's not that.
No, I was just trying to reveal but I had a discussion with the kid, and we talked about how I could improve that, and those are the vulnerable moments with the kids.
Did it go well?
It did. Oh. It went so well that kid was holding me accountable after the fact. Like, remember you said? I'm like, oh Lord.
I bet that one is not going to forget.
Oh, they won't. I almost said which one it was. They won't. That personality, they won't. So anyway, it's a joy. It's a joy, right? Like we got the flag football game this weekend, so I get to enjoy that with Aiden. Like Kim said, Paris has to dance. I also support Paris in that as well. Kim supports Aiden in football too. So we kind of
tag teaming.
Divide and conquer type thing. And it's really good for us because I think we talked about this early when we first had our kids, this is something we actually they're at the age we should start doing. But we talked about having that one-on-one time with your kids, right? So we're always collectively together. But now we're starting to branch off into some things where it's father, son, daughter, mother, daughter, father, daughter, right? Mother, son, right? Just kind of having that dynamic so that we build rapport with each other and then build rapport collectively. We talked about early in our marriage doing dates with them. Why you
hit me?
I can't.
I'm messing with you.
But we talked about going on dates with them. So, and it's teaching them those things. Like for me, as as a dad, right, teaching my daughter how a date should go. That's and right. What you should stand for and what you shouldn't stand for. Kim doing the same for Aiden and so on and so forth. So those are the things, and that's just an idea we came up with. Once again, titled this podcast, There Ain't No Handbook.
And it's good you brought that up with it. Because one of my friends and Paris was getting her hair done. One of my friends was saying that's what they do because they have two of their kids are now teenagers right now, right? And they've been doing that every so many weeks. They take, they have that individual time with the one kid.
Oh, really?
Yes, every so many weeks, like whatever that activity is for them to go out and do or whatever. Because
how do they split it up?
I didn't get into technicalities, but like they have it where it's like spaced out where like, oh, this child, I go, like it's our turn, and then maybe the next time
they swap.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And and especially with teenagers, like because like if you start right now, like it's good because by the time they get to teenagers, like they'll be like the communication channel will be open. There'll be more to come and like talk to you because sometimes when that communication is not there, I mean we've like been through it. If we haven't been through it, seen it through people we knew, like growing up. Like teenagers, parents don't understand and they don't communicate to them because that communication channel was just not built. But if you have that trust, with your child, I think that's a good like activity.
Good activity to build it. And I think
practice.
I think it's important too because so one thing I used to, when we first got married and we talked about kids, it's like, oh, I don't want to have any traditions. But as I get older, I realize I actually appreciated the traditions our parents had for us growing up because those are the things you remember. You're like, oh, we always did this on Christmas or we always did this on Thanksgiving, right? So I think, I'm learning to be open with building traditions. Like that kind of became a tradition. It was just one fun activity one year. We paint pumpkins every October, right before Halloween. It's just something that we've been doing with not only my kids but my nephew and niece, right? And it's goofy, it's corny. We do a little theme, right? But it's fun, right? And
this year was the fastest.
They were not into it.
Well, it's like they were, but then like
their attention was short.
Yeah,
they were like, "Oh, this is cool. All right, I'm done." It's like we just started. And then they kick my little theme to the curb.
Oh yeah, because he usually themes up. If y'all didn't know, Mr. Cleet the Geek is a graphic artiste, web designer. He's just creative in that whole area, and henceforth, our son has House of Dragon. We've been watching.
We're gonna get into that.
Jackass. Anywho.
Okay. Go ahead.
At the blue fire somebody. Anywho.
For no reason.
Yes. Lost my train of thought. So our son has taken after him in terms of like, the gift to I didn't get there yet.
I'm just saying,
I was working my way down. Our son has taken after him with like the gift to like create, draw, he makes comic books and stuff like that. And then our daughter as well.
Yeah, she does fashion stuff. And
yes.
She draws characters too.
What was I saying that?
That's why I come up with the themes.
Oh, so thank you. See, I forgot. So like the past few years, like he's been having themes for the kids, like our kids and our niece and nephew, to like paint the pumpkins. Like I think last year was like superheroes, and the year before, last year was fact. And then I think the year before that was like superheroes. And like this year, I forgot what was the theme you had selected. But I think
this year was superheroes supposed to be.
But they quickly shot it down. They're like, I want to do my own thing, kind of thing.
Like within seconds.
Yeah, it was funny.
So,
but it's cute because like they will remember.
It's like, traditions, right? Yeah. So be encouraged. Do your traditions. Like it's I think it's one of those things where you look back at the time of you like, oh, we always got to do this. But when you get older and you reminisce, it's one of the good memories. It's like, oh, I miss doing that. And then it's something you want to try to do with your kids, right? So anyway, that's, I mean, we could go forever on kids.
I know. It's going to be always something to talk about because.
Yeah, but we're excited for this weekend, working through the school year. It's a lot of responsibility changes for our kids as they move up from grade to grade. You start to see the different dynamics.
Right.
Before it seemed like 7 hours of recess and then an hour of work.
The 7 hours of
and then now it's getting flipped on them. So you see them going through the motions, learning how to deal with other kids, navigating through, you know, the social aspect of it, right? Friendships. You know, you start to see them join their little cliques that they have, and they, you know, one of our kids, they even named their clique, you know. So it's cool. This is amazing. It's like it's and it's seeing, you know, the exciting part is you're seeing yourself in them in those stages of life, right? Oh, I remember when I was in 3rd grade, I would do this, and 4th grade, and so on and so forth. So it's good. It's good. Anything else before we jump into entertainment? Because I know you had a couple of things.
That was it with, you know, parent life, you know.
Yeah.
But moving on now.
All right. So which one you want to start with?
Our entertainment portion now. This is where we like to catch up, or like, you know, this is not like a deep dive into the shows and review of the show. This is like our.
If you're looking for deep dives, Kim got some resources for Married at First Sight. Do you have someone? Oh no, they don't really go.
Not deep dives. There's like several people that do like reviews, but
when we get into other shows, like let's say if she wanted to talk about, like, this is one I don't watch with her. She watched The Housewives. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Babe, when last? It's been years.
In the background.
I know.
You'll stop and be like,
no. I will admit when I stop in the background.
But no, you don't sit and watch it.
Yeah,
you don't.
You can't do it. So, but anyway, if you do want to, you know, in the future do review, she can point you out to some resources. They've been suing
everybody. A lot of people, a lot of bloggers.
Oh, for real? For like saying stuff about the show?
Yeah, like giving their opinion of the show. They like sending cease and desist. So like bloggers, especially like YouTubers, are on there. This is all allegedly, okay? In my opinion.
So I guess because maybe it's getting into their actual lives. So,
and I guess it's like they're speaking as if it's fact.
Which could be slander. I can see
defamation.
That.
So like, you know, they have to go on there. Like you'll see them with their thing that, like, what do you call it? The
ticker.
No, like on a video.
Oh, lower third.
Yeah, that says this is all alleged, or in my opinion, kind of thing. Yeah. Or they like say it in the video.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, the legality part of it.
Maybe not, right? But for like House of Dragon, when we talk about different Marvel shows, there's some go-to channels like New Rock Stars. If y'all haven't heard of them,
favorites.
That's hands down my favorite. They're most they are the most accurate because they actually take the time to research and bring a lot of detail. So like they cover they do the backstory, like, you know, like with Marvel, they go into the comic books and they do a lot of the backstory. You know, they give you the details and where the source material is coming from for a lot of the Marvel films.
A lot of Easter eggs. They like pick up like the smallest things in a show or movie. I'm like, I did not see that.
Yeah. Like, so now it's to a point where we don't watch any of the Marvel shows or movies without their review, right?
Yeah.
Same thing for you know, like House of Dragon, they also do reviews for those. So you got New Rock Stars, you got I ain't gonna name all of the ones, but the main
the H. Is one that starts with the H.
Everything Awesome? Everything Awesome is one of them.
With the H.
I don't know.
That's the E.
I don't know. I don't know. You got
I forgot the other one.
Think Story is one that he does a lot of them. He does, you know, the Marvel ones, he does the House of Dragon and Game of Thrones, all of those. So those are the main ones. But anyway, saying all that to say, like, we don't do an in-depth review, right?
Yeah.
That's where you go for those in-depth reviews. We're just kind of covering like our perspective, how we thought about it.
Layman terms.
Yeah. What we think.
Slightly comedic.
Yeah.
Review, you know, our thoughts, our comedic thoughts.
Yeah. So which one we get into first?
Well, House of Dragon ended last week.
Yeah. House of Dragon ended. So, we got and then we could probably touch on briefly. We could touch on the one with the Lord of the Ring of Power.
Oh yeah, the Rings of Power.
Rings of Power. So we did those. So we did.
That ended first. Yeah.
So we got Rings of Power, we got House of Dragons, and then Married at First Sight. So Ring of Power. Rings of Power. Sorry, I'm black.
Ring of Power.
I give them my own name. The boys with the rings over there. So spoiler alert, right?
Spoiler
to make
alert.
sure I say that it's gonna be spoiler alert for all of the shows, right? Because I mean, obviously, if you ain't watched by now, I don't know what you're doing. But Rings of Power, it was really good. So obviously, if you don't know, Rings of Power is on Amazon Prime, Amazon Prime, and it is a prequel to the Lord of the Rings saga. Right? Sequel or not sequel? What is it called?
Series.
3. Oh, you can say series.
Yeah. Oh, trilogy.
Trilogy. Yep.
I was about to say trio.
Lord of the Rings trio. But yeah, it was really good. So you got to see some of the characters from the Lord of the Rings, see them in their younger age, without going into a bunch of details. You have the elves, which they live years and years longer than all of the different other species, right? So you're seeing there's like 3 time periods in Lord of the Rings. This takes place in the second time period.
What they call it?
I know I couldn't think of it. That's why I just said time period. maybe you could come back with it. You can look it up if you want. Yeah, look it up. So you got 3 time periods. Lord of the Rings, the trilogy takes place in the third time period. This one goes back to the second time period. And basically, it gives you a lot of details of how the darkness, how the protagonists of the whole
second age.
So you got first age, second age, third age. Thank you.
This one took place in the second age.
Yeah. So this gives you some insight on how the bad guy, let's just use layman terms, right? The bad guy in the third age came into power, and how everything escalated to where it was in the third age. This gives you backstory on that.
Right.
So one thing I really liked from the beginning of the season, you didn't know who, and the bad guy, the protagonist, I guess you would call him, is Sovereign. Can you look it up while I'm talking? It's Sauron, and he is the big bad. All right, he's the big bad in the third age, who's controlling the army of orcs, and they're trying to take over Middle Earth, and they just bad, all right? And then you got was it Frodo? You got the little Hobbit that was trying to get the ring back. He had to go into Mordor, right? The bad guys area, their camp, right? He got to go up in their crib, right? And he had to put the ring back into the fire that it was made from, because if that's the only way to destroy it. Now, with this ring, if this ring ever got back to Sauron, right, then he would have ultimate power and just take over the Middle Age. So his whole task in Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, was it took him three 3-hour movies to get to that to get into the heart of Mordor and drop that ring in there. But that was the task, right? So this tells you about how that ring got created. And I like at the beginning of the series how you didn't know, you thought you see a guy fall from the earth, from the sky into the earth, and you're thinking automatically, well, this must be Sauron, right? Because he had all this power.
We kind of knew who he was.
Well, I'm just saying, like, they wanted you to
know that. Yeah.
So I'm saying, generally, the show just kind of wanted to throw you off, right? But we was watching our guys, new rock stars, and was giving the details from the book and stuff.
Make you think.
So yeah, they already put us on game on who it could have been, and it was cool to see how it played out. It ended up being
Wizard. Gandalf.
That ended up being a wizard that fell, and the bad guy ended up being this one guy named Hallburn.
Yeah, Hallburn. In real life, he's only 30 years old.
He did look young though.
30 though?
Yeah, I could see that.
That young?
I could see that. He didn't look old to me. I mean, they made him look rough like that that time period, but he didn't look like crazy old to me. But yeah, is Hallburn?
Hallburn.
It was Hallbrand.
Oh, Hallbrand, you're right.
Yeah, Hallbrand. So Hallbrand was like You thought he was going to be like this savior type character, and he ended up being the bad guy in disguise. And it makes sense because, you know, in the story, and we can get deep into the story.
I was about to say, you could like, because it's going to be a lot of story, and you still got to get through.
Let me finish. So with Halbrand, you have to realize, like, he had to convince the men and all the other species to agree to basically create these rings.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't come in there looking like the big bad that he is in the third version. He was in human form in this. So I just thought that was real clever how they did that, because they showed you how he was able to gain the confidence of everyone, get them to create the rings, and then secretly create his ring, which gave him the most power. So really good series, definitely worth the watch if you haven't had a chance to check it out. And I've been looking here just for a long time.
So we don't know who he's
I don't know who. I'm like, who this dude talking to over there?
You keep looking down.
Nah, I was looking at something on the screen and I got caught up in it. So anyway, if you haven't,
definitely good series.
Good series, yeah, good series. About what, 10 episodes, 10 episodes, something like that. You'll see it. It's on Amazon Prime. Worth the watch.
Yeah, 8 to 10. It was 8.
All right, House of Cards. I keep saying House of Cards.
House of Cards. That is a show, but no.
yeah, I don't like that show. I did like it at one point. I didn't like the later seasons. It got wild.
So you were real into it.
Yeah, season one. Now, House of Cards season 1, fire. Anywho, House of Dragons. So I did a lot of talking that last one. Give us your impression, because Kim is new to Game of Thrones. I binge watched. Okay. All those seasons.
Game of Thrones. How many seasons was Game of Thrones?
7. Quote, in the comments, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it's 7. I can't remember.
The House of the Dragon. I really loved it because, like Cleet said, Game of Thrones. I didn't zilch. Okay, I came in on the very last. The very last episode of the Game of Thrones.
It was finale. It was 8 seasons.
8 seasons of the Game of Thrones, and I came on the very last episode. That's the only episode I watched in Game of Thrones. So coming into the House of Dragons, I didn't really have no knowledge of anything. I knew there were different houses, and I knew there were dragons, and I knew like people, it was all like a struggle for a political gain, right? Political power. So that I understood. So coming into it, I know I heard like some reviews, people were saying, it's like kind of slow. To me, I appreciated it because like I didn't have no reference, right? Because I didn't watch any like of the refreshers of the Game of Thrones, so I came in not knowing anything about the different houses and the families or whatever.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell content is good when you're at the edge of your seat and people are just talking. Like, ain't nobody fighting, but you think something about to happen.
It's lots of talking, and I appreciated that they like took their time.
Yeah.
Well. Took their time, but didn't, because it was only 8 to 10 episodes, 8 episodes, so it wasn't that many episodes either. But I still feel like they still took their time to give backstory, so that you can like understand. Oh, okay, I see. Okay,
how things got, because in Game of Thrones, it's 200 years later, right? And you have, at the time they've just did a coup. I was messing up.
A coup?
A coup, yeah. They just did a coup and they got rid of the Mad King. That was the last Targaryen king. And basically he was crazy.
Was that the beginning of Game of Thrones or at the end?
So here's the thing. They never actually showed it. They just did flashbacks to it. But they never actually like showed the event. Oh. It was like after
talked about.
Yeah, it was talked about, and then later in different seasons they like gave you some footage finally, but it was like never fully shown. Anyway, the Mad King, he was. They always talked about the Targaryens because of Targaryens. They did a lot of incest, right? A lot of they did. They got the white hair, and
like,
it's like
we keep it in the
white hair. White hair don't care. You know what I mean? If you don't got white hair, I ain't into you, right? But that's your sister, right? Your cousin. They was doing their thing. But because of that, little retardation, little deformities was happening, and mental issues, right? So they had reputation for going mad, like they would just lose their mind. So anyway, he was the last of them, not the very last Targaryen, but he was the last one to be king. Before the other houses just band together and got him out of there.
Take over
he was bombing people in the city. He was just evil. So anyway, it gives you all a backstory 200 years before, like how the Targaryens got to where they were, and they were the family, the house that had dragons. So they were in power for hundreds of years because they're the only family that had dragon riders. So you see what happened. Like, how did they lose? Like, if you got all the power, right? You got the dragons. Like, how do you lose that power and get to a point where no one sits on the throne? Well, this is giving me that backstory. So, and it was, man, amazing. I don't even think we need to go. Just watch it.
Yeah, it was a good series, and I'm looking forward to season 2 on it. Yeah, it was good.
They left you. They leave you. Spoiler alert.
Of course, I'm like, why? Like, I know they're gonna leave you like that, so you can come back for season 2. But it's just like, I want more.
Now, one thing we before we move on, we got 4 couples to hit. I don't know if we're gonna have time.
What are you talking about?
Before we go to Married at First Sight, we gotta talk about old crusty behind Viserys, man. I took
Tales of the Crypt.
This dude,
every episode, I thought he was gonna die.
He died every episode. Okay, he died,
and then prolonged his life.
And you come back to the next episode, he's still alive. I'm like, he died. Like, he stopped moving. Remember the wedding? He croaked over and died.
Yeah, and then he appeared in the next episode.
I was like, I just do. Yeah. Like Kim said, they came back when they did the last time jump. They came back and dude looked like Tales from the Crypt.
I kept calling him Tales from the Crypt because that's what he looked like.
But I will say I like the one scene, like I said, spoiler alert, where they were trying to. So without going into a bunch of details, the Valerian family, which is a black family with white hair, I like the new family that was fresh. They were trying. The leader of that family, his younger brother, was trying to take over.
The one you didn't warn me about.
He was trying to take over because his older brother was out there,
mortally rude.
He was out there. He was out there fighting. He's they call him the sea dragon. No. Lord. Hey, one thing y'all gonna know, I'm gonna mess up some names, okay?
And that's some phrases.
It's just what I do. The sea snake is what they call him. And basically he was out fighting, and he got injured. So younger brother like, hey man, he ain't gonna get no better, right? I'm the younger brother. I know you got some grandkids that's supposed to take over the throne for this house, but I'm gonna take it. So make a long story short, he goes over to try to present himself to, in the Red Keep to it's supposed to be King Viserys, but Viserys is, bedridden, right? He's been dying for like 25 years, right?
Yes.
So his wife, the queen, which is a Hightower, she's from Hightower family, and her dad, which was the hand of Viserys, they were basically in power. So the Hightowers were basically running, the whole kingdom. The Iron Throne, right? So he goes to them and he kind of has a little agreement, little back little deal with them. So he's like, yo, let me become over this house and I'm gonna hook y'all up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have this house representing y'all. I'm gonna back y'all, right? I'm gonna bend the knee. It's all about bending the knee, right? So anyway, I do like Viserys. Before he died, he did show up for his daughter, because his daughter, he named her heir, which is Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra is the auntie. So Rhaenyra, we call her Ray Ray, right? Because inside joke, Kev on stage does a comedic review, which you should check out. Yeah. If you don't want to watch all these episodes, you can watch all his comedic reviews. He'll tell you everything in black terms. Yes. It's hilarious. Okay. So, Ray. Yeah. So Ray Ray, right, which is Rhaenyra, excuse me. Yeah. She named heir from Viserys out of guilt because he loved her mother more than anything in the world, so he made her the heir. So anyway, Viserys wants her to be queen. And dude shows up and he's like, hey, I want to be over this house. And he's talking to the wife, but then Viserys come crippling up, limping all the way to the throne, his last ditch effort to just show that he's king. And he's like, hey, yo, why are we discussing this, man? You know what I mean? My daughter is going to be queen. Her kids are going to take over that house. Mm-hmm. Stop talking. He's like, what? Hey, old man, you crazy, man. You talking crazy, man. Man, your wife, your daughter is he calling out her name. So they done, slice buddy head off all on TV.
Damon
Damon's a beast, okay? Hey, if you don't watch this show, just watch clips of Damon. Damon he's a jerk, but he's a beast.
He ain't too easy on that, but
but anyway, I like how Viserys stepped up for his last thing.
The only time,
because he was a little cowardly kind of king, Mm-hmm. Well, great show. A lot of drama, a lot of intensity, right? Like you literally at the edge of your seat because once you see Damon chop the heads off, like in the mid conversation, he was like when the brother, the Valerian brother said he called out Rhaenyra, her name, the king, Viserys was like, yo, I'm gonna have your tongue for that. Before he could even get out of his seat, Damon chopped the man's head off and the tongue is just hanging there. He's like, he can keep his tongue. I'm like, what? So this show, it keeps up that Game of Thrones goriness and it's fire. It's fire.
Yeah. So definitely looking forward to season 2.
Yes. Definitely looking forward. We've been going long. I've been going a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to do Red
first? We can do a quick. Yeah. Oh, we can talk about it next week because part 2.
Yeah. Part 2. Perfect. See, that's why I fools with you. Because then we can really give it time. Because I do want to spend time on each couple. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Anything else?
No, that was good. Thank y'all.
Yeah, thanks for chilling with us.
For chilling with us.
For pulling up with the crew.
That's right. For being that couple with us. Because we're that couple, y'all that couple.
We're that crew, Oh, that crew.
That's good.
Yeah. Come on, because we're trying to think of a name, you know what I'm saying?
It's the community.
The community.
Gotcha.
We that couple and we that crew. You know what I'm saying? We that crew that people talk about.
Yeah.
So we have that crew.
Yeah. So
see, that's on the top of the dog.
Big dog.
I did so you.
It's just you did. We joke a lot anyway. Anywho. Thank y'all so much for tuning in this week. If you have not already, be sure you're following us on Instagram, YouTube. Mm-hmm. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on podcast platforms. Yes. Leave a review. Text it out to your friends. The links when we send it, when we let y'all know when our podcast go live.
Yeah. And if you check it out on YouTube, comment. We respond to comments.
Yes.
And like Kim said, leave reviews. We just, want to chop it up with y'all. We want to see what y'all talking about. If y'all have things y'all want us to talk about as a couple, like, parenting, marriage, all that kind of stuff.
We'll review it first.
If it makes sense, that's what I'm about to say. Don't be talking crazy.
We talk about it and everything.
Yeah. But, if it makes sense, we'll definitely talk about it.
For sure.
All right. Thanks for chilling with the crew.
See you next week.
Thanks for chilling with that couple, that crew.
Oh, gosh.
We're going to get the exit good. Yeah. All right. See you later.
See you later.